everyone. Welcome to the Fearless Queens podcast. Tina and
Sara.
We are super excited this week to talk to you guys about success and our secret sauce. And when we share with you, I really feel that it's important to share with you that this isn't the only way, but this is the way that's helped us and the way that we feel we have become successful. And also success looks different for every single person. And so we have gone through lots of ups and downs, lots of peaks and valleys. And we feel that by sharing this content with you, that hopefully this will help you with any roadblocks you come across or any failures. And I put that in quotations because failure is only just never getting back up again. And so here we are talking about success.
Yeah, so our secret sauce for success, I believe, is what you put into your brain, is all, the social media, the TV you're watching, the books that you're reading. And a book that inspired us to even do this podcast today was Rhinoceros Success that Tina let me borrow from her. It's a quick, easy read, and I highly recommend. But the topic here and the reason why I wanted to dive into it was because this is probably like the 7th, 8th book I have read in the last 2 years that are like success, like how you reach your goals, how you become wealthy, how you achieve all that you desire, all relates back to the Bible, biblical thinking, biblical ways of living. And I truly believe that it's one and the same. Like you can get so far by yourself, but believing in something more than yourself is going to get you so much further. So Tina and I both believe in Jesus Christ, that we believe that he is our savior, that God is the end all be all. He is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and end of everything in life. But that's not for us to tell you what to believe in. What I'm here to share with you is that if you're not believing in anything, I highly suggest that if you're wanting to do anything more than work for somebody else the rest of your life, that you start to believe in something bigger than yourself.
And the cool part about it, we'll go back to the book that she was talking about, Rhinoceros Success, which brings me to, I think, the number one thing of being successful is the 5 people you surround yourself with. Absolutely. I think that's number one. Because the cool thing is this book was actually introduced to me from the company I work for, and he started, sharing this book with people, and then they realized how awesome it was and how, again, it is biblical. You can say it's inspiration. You could say it's a quote. They're all saying the same thing ultimately, which I think is just so cool. And so this book was handed down from the company that I'm a part of, that we are a part of now.
Yep.
And the 5 people you surround yourself with are who you turn into. Think about it. Look at the 5 people. Write down right now. Pause this podcast right now and write down the 5 people you spend the most time with, good, bad, or whatever. You probably are very similar to who they are. So that's going to be your number one thing. And luckily for us, what a blessing that the company we work for has helped us to create the environment we want with those 5 people. And that book is, I feel, what did you like best about that book?
Quick and easy read, easy to understand, and that it's all saying the same thing. Like your habits, your thoughts, your words, the people you hang out with are the product of who you are, who you become. I mean, it's just the 5 people you associate yourself with. Let me tell you, a year ago, I was not the same person I am now because I don't surround myself with the same human beings I used to. Mm-hmm. And that's not because I don't love them or don't like them. It's just because I was complacent. I wasn't growing anymore. I needed to find a way to be and hear and learn all the things I wanted out of my life, but I didn't have those resources yet. And so I changed my circle. And my circle started with people online. Like I found mentors online. I found podcasters online. I found people who were, ahead of the game in learning what marketing was online. And because of that, I started to shift who I was because those 5 people I was absorbing and listening to started to become who I was.
And I think it's important to note, and this is literally, I just wrote this down, a completely different podcast, is how to find your 5 and how to let go of you're not 5, not from a place of you're not growing but from a place of love, like allowing people and meeting them where they're at and for what purpose. So that, I believe, is a completely separate like podcast in and of itself. If you guys would like us to break that down a little bit more, finding your 5 and maybe releasing some that's not serving you anymore, would be a really, really great place to start. So let us know I think we're going to do it anyway, but let us know if you want to hear that podcast sooner than later.
For sure. So going back to the book that we started this topic with, Rhinoceros Success, it is like I said, at least the 7th, 8th book that I have read that all goes back to believe in something more than yourself. Like, I'm looking at the books because I'm a very much a list person, type A, want to know where I've been, what I'm doing, and what I've done so far in life. So just looking at the books I have read that I know have said something about biblical stuff is Healing the Soul of a Woman, Kill the Comparison, The Greatest Salesman in the World, which we had the honor of donating at least 12 copies to a bunch of high schoolers last week. Tina and
Entrepreneurial class of students in high school.
Yeah, so I mean, reading is such a beautiful thing, and as a kid, I'm in middle school and high school, I hated it because it was forced down our throats to, this is the book you have to read, this is what you have to learn. And now as an adult, I'm so grateful that I learn to love to read because I'm able to learn whatever the heck I want to. It's great.
Yeah, and the cool thing is in the beginning we talked about how it is all biblical, and you can call it inspiration, you can call it motivational quotes. I have mentors in every religion, not every religion, but a lot of different religions and thought processes. So call it whatever you want.
But they're all saying the same thing.
They are all saying
be a good person.
Yes.
Love one another.
Exactly. And the thoughts we think about, if you think about, I can't think of his name, it'll come to me, where your focus goes, your energy flows. Tony Robbins, one of the greatest entrepreneurs in the world. Where your focus goes, energy flows. And then you go to biblically, and biblically is the same thing. The thoughts we think about are what we create in this world. You go to Joe Dispenza, you go to a number of people who are on all different realms of the earth. So call it whatever you want, but each little saying and quote comes directly from the Bible, the oldest book, the greatest book written of all time, whether you believe it or not. Here is the thing that I've learned to realize. Even if you're like, the Bible's not right, the Bible isn't factual, there's no way
Pick up A Case for Christ if you are doubting.
Yeah, we're talking about a lot of books here.
We are. But this is a book podcast success thing. That's the topic of the discussion.
Oh, here's what I was going to say is it doesn't matter whether you believe it or not, because here's the thing. It's a lot of it that we're sharing with you is positivity. It's how to overcome obstacles. It's how to create more joy. It's, to whom much is given, much is required. If you want to reach the levels of success, you have to put in the work for it. David Goggins, like I've talked about him before on my podcast. So even if you don't believe the Bible, like you can't help but want to do the things that it shares with you. Even if we're just talking from a success perspective, what do you have to lose by believing it?
Exactly. There is plenty of millionaires and billionaires out there that have came and succeeded a long way, but are so mentally and internally not happy. And they're missing that piece because externally, nothing will fulfill you outside of yourself. You have to be fulfilled from within, and that only comes from one space, and it's the creator, the thing that brought you into this earth before your parents even thought of you and that you were formed. Like, you had a purpose to be here at this time, in this space, in this realm here on earth. And for what purpose, you won't know until you open that book, I promise you. And it'll just start to click. You will see signs everywhere you go.
What book are we talking about? The Bible?
The Bible,
okay.
Yeah, yes.
So another thing, too, that's super cool is, you tell me what you think, but I think, for me, number 2 of being successful is how many people can you help?
Oh, yeah.
How many people can you help? Who can you serve? Because if you are only self-serving, you could be a literal millionaire and have the poorest soul in the world. And I experienced both ends of it. I experienced people who became incredibly wealthy, more money in their bank account they will ever spend in a lifetime. And their just souls and hearts were empty. We're missing. We're lacking something. And then I've met people in our company and I had this idea of what I thought, rich people were like. And I met these people, and all they want to do is serve others. They wake up every day literally like, how can I serve you? And little tidbit here, everything that everyone does is self-serving. It really is. However, if your actual thought process behind serving yourself is how you can serve others, the riches that will come into your life are ever flowing and unending. And that is biblical. That is probably in every self-help book you ever read. If you think about Jim Rohn, who is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, help as many people as you can to be successful, and you will be successful.
Absolutely. Impact equals income. And I don't think it's a coincidence whatsoever that M comes before N in the alphabet. I mean, it just makes sense all the way around. The more impact that you're providing out into the world, the more income just follows.
Where your focus goes,
yes,
your energy flows.
Yeah.
And you start to act in that way. You start to, your behavior just starts to be that. And
it goes back to your thoughts, because your thoughts become things. So if you're not thinking positively, then you're not going to act positively. Like, you have to get this mind, this thing in between your ears, coherent with what you want in the world, with what you want for yourself.
And it's almost like a vibration. You're putting out a vibration of, let me serve. Who can I serve? Who can I serve? Like today, we're in a completely different setup. We're trying a bunch of new things today. And we wanted to serve a local coffee shop that's just really big in the community. They give back a lot. And we're like, you know what? Let's switch it up this week. And all our thought processes, as much as it's different, as much as it's throwing us all off, is like, we're serving our community. And no matter what challenge or struggle has come up with trying to figure this all out, we know that we've built relationships with people we would have never met. We're connecting with people we would have never connected. And I feel that Sara and I collectively give off such a positive joy and light that when people meet us, and this isn't an ego, this is a Christ light thing. When people meet us, their day goes better because we're in it. And I feel like, I don't know, I was pulled, she was the one who pulled us here today. And now that I'm here, I'm like, man, there is a purpose. We're here, and we've had some great conversations. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but it's all about who can you serve. Doesn't matter what's going on in your life. Wake up every day. Who can I serve? And I promise you, there will be opportunities coming at you in more ways than you can even imagine.
Absolutely. We're all here on this earth for a reason, and there's so much darkness out there already. Just be the one to be the light, to bring a smile to somebody's face, to compliment somebody, and because what comes around goes around. Everything about anything that exists on this planet is energy. We, like Tina said, we all have a vibration, and it's energy.
What you give out is exactly what you get back. What you receive back is what you're giving out.
For sure. And the universe has no idea whether it's negative or positive. It's going to just give you what you're giving, right? So you could be the most negative human being in the world, because I was that. I was literally the glass half empty. There's no purpose in life. We're just here. And then that's exactly what I was getting in my life. And it was attracting negative people, negative outcomes, all the things. And now that I flipped the switch and realized that, okay, I'm in control of what I'm thinking and of what I'm saying and what I'm doing and how I'm acting and what my habits are, and that becomes your lifestyle. So what am I going to do about it once I know? And if you're listening to this podcast, I hope and pray that you're here and wanting to grow and learn more and be successful and have a positive light and outcome in your life. So,
and know that we're throwing a lot of information at you today. So this is not a podcast. If you're listening to in the car and you're hearing it and it's going in and you're like, wow, this is great, I highly suggest you save this and listen to it later and take notes, because these are specific things that we have gone through. And we didn't just wake up one day and be like, oh, well, I choose to be happy and be nice to everyone, so that's what we're going to get back. I want you to know that that's a misconception. But here's the thing. If you give back, if you read these books, you put these thoughts into your mind, when you come upon challenges, when you come upon roadblocks, you can think in your mind, like the book that I've been digging in right now that I listen to in Audible over and over. I'm on my third time listening to it. is the power of positive thinking. It was recommended at a Pruvit event from Steve Harvey, and the power of positive thinking is literally life changing. And it talks about business people. It talks about, people in all different walks of life. And just remember that when you're going through challenges and you put these thoughts into your mind, you're going to get through them stronger. You're going to be stronger as you go through them. So this is not to say that you decide to be happy and life is just happy and joyful all the time. But what happens is you are stronger. You are more durable. You have the light of Christ. You have the strength of Christ. And number one, you're not meant to do it alone. You're not supposed to do it alone. That's control. You will never have control. Now I'm going on another tangent. Sorry, I just got heated on that one. But just know that it doesn't just happen because you decide to be happy. But being happy through the challenging times is going to create, to whom much is given, much is to be expected. He's going to say to you, hey, she did really good with this. What else can she do? What else can she achieve? What else can I trust him with? So I feel like that's a really big one.
Hey guys, Tina here. I am super excited to share something with you that has been incredibly beneficial to my day. It has helped with so many things for my mood, my energy, my sleep, my skin, my focus, all the things, and it's super clean, which is very, very important to me. If you want more information, I would love to share it with you. Send me a message on my Instagram. My handle is Tina M. Kafka, or there is a link in my bio. I'm super excited. I want to hear from you. I want to build a relationship and help you to create the best life that you want, meant for you. Bye, guys.
Can you talk a little bit, because the moral of the story is like, I wanted to talk about all the books that we've read and how they all fall back to it's biblical. I mean, they're all quoting scripture. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Do not be anxious about tomorrow, for today has enough worry in it of itself. Like,
ask and it is given, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will open.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think all these authors who have accumulated an abundance amount of success would be where they are had they not referred back to what their foundation is, which is on the Bible. Mm-hmm. And the power of positive thinking, Think and Grow Rich. Oh my goodness, when I first dove into entrepreneurship a year and a half ago, that was the first book I was recommended. I was listening to it on Audible in my car, and just like all of the aha moments I was getting, that's like, wow, so all these people believe. This is weird. Like, I slowly was starting to learn, like, the path is narrow, but if you are connected and plugged into it, everybody and everything starts to just align, and the pathway you just start to soar and go further and deeper, and you find people that are on that path, and everybody who's not just starts to fade out. And then you just pray for them, because you realize that so many people are sleepwalking through their life. And you don't want that, because once you're woke, you can't not be woke anymore. I mean, you just know too much, and you just realize that nothing changes if nothing changes.
And yes, absolutely. That is a huge one right there. And I was actually going to say that every single book, no matter what the title is, it's Think and Grow Rich, it's Power of Positive Thinking, Rhinoceros Success. What was the other one we said? All of them are Think and Grow Rich. All of them are not about becoming rich per se. It's not about just thinking happy thoughts per se. It's your mindset, but also what are your daily habits? What are you doing with your day? And if you look at the 5 people, let's say you're hanging around with a bunch of quote unquote losers, which when I say losers, that I don't mean that they're like not rich or they're not successful, but like,
no, it's like almost the cool thing. It's like, oh, they're cool. Yeah. It's cool to go out every weekend. It's cool to go get drunk and have fun in that way. It's cool to stay out late and party, do all the things that's not leading you to anywhere else you want to go, except the next day you got a hangover. Like,
right. And think about those people, and it's not that they're bad people in any way, shape, or form. They're beautiful people. We all deserve love. We all, have gone through things and that bring us to the moment we're in today. But the number one, I keep saying the number one thing. There's lots of number one things. I feel like they all go back to the same thing, but it's their habits. What do people do daily? If I look at and I watch the people who, like, 2 of my 5 people are literally online. They're my online people, which you have to, especially with what happened in 2020. Their habits, their daily habits are, one girl said, she's like, I didn't go out, Jessie Lee. She's like, I didn't go out and drink at all from the age of like 23 to 32. She's like, you never saw me at a bar. And I'm like, holy crap. And this is not to say that people who go to bars are not successful. Don't misconstrue what we're saying. But you have to look at the life you want. And if you want a life of success, if you look at someone and say, oh, you've heard people say, I want $1 million. It's like a common thing. Do you know what is required to make $1 million? Most of the time, you don't want the work that is going in to receive $1 million. You want the quick fix. You want the $1 million. That's why when someone receives a large amount of money, within a year, it's gone. Yeah. You wanted the money, but you don't want what comes along with it.
Yeah, that's why many people that win the lottery are either back in the same boat that they were in 6 months later, or they're even further in the hole than they were beforehand, because they don't know how to manage that a lump sum amount of money, because it just came to them, and their habits and their mindset and everything that comes with earning that much or having that much and managing that much isn't equipped inside the middle part of in between your ears. Like, this thing, our brain, it works for us if you're utilizing it the way that it's intended to be used, to get you to where you want to go. Like, you have to retrain your brain. You have to reprogram, because from the time that we were born into this world, you were programmed from everything else, from your parents, your teachers, coaches, employers, all the things that are saying, you know, go to school, get a good job, get good grades, go to college, then go find a job in corporate America, get your 2 weeks worth of vacation, enjoy your 2 days off, and wait till you're 65 to accumulate your Social Security and live happily ever after when you're 65 and can no longer do anything that you could have done in your 20s, 30s, 40s. You get what I'm saying? That is not the American dream. At least that's not the dream I had at all.
We all have our own American dreams. However, I do believe that when you're going through these challenges, like how she was talking about, you know, when you gain success, when you start to grow, when you start to flourish, and you maybe don't know how to handle a large amount of money or what to do when success comes your way, this is where you have to shift your 5 people. I believe that where I was 2 years ago and the people who were my 5, I love those people. I love them, and I have released them, and I've changed the 5 people, maybe 2, 3, 4, probably all 5 of them I've changed. So as you grow and evolve, those 5 people are going to shift. Like, I actually just asked somebody that I met, well, I know this person very well, but I saw them at an event and I was like, oh my gosh, I want him to be my mentor, because I see where he is. I see where he's gone. And I know, because he is most qualified to help the person he once was, that he can help me along the path because he's been there. And that's another thing I want to say. If you see someone out there who's a mentor and you're like, man, I want to work with them, watch them for like 3 months or 2 weeks or however long and say, do you really want to do everything they're doing? Do you really want to go live every single day? Do you really want to not go out on the weekends? Like, you have to look at people who are successful and not just want their success. You want everything that comes along with it, and know that you can call on just about anyone. You don't need to be their best friend, like sitting like this face to face, to be learning from people. And I feel like that's really important when you're learning like new habits and you want to be successful and you want to get through the failures and the roadblocks and all that. Call on people who have been there.
Yeah. Joyce Meyer is one of the 5 in my group, and she is in her 70s. I've only seen her online. I had the privilege of seeing her in person actually back in September, and it was amazing because she's been one of my mentors, one of my 5 since I knew she existed, and she's been around for decades, and I just knew who she was last year. So circling back to what Tina said about your 5, everybody in your life is there for a purpose. You're always learning something from them. There's a life lesson to be learned about yourself and about the other person and what you want in your next level of life. But I had the privilege of having, being a guest on somebody else's podcast about a month ago. And
what was his name?
Dustin Red Wallace. We'll put his social links down at the bottom. Great man, great guy, and he was sharing with me that his pastor at his church said that, not everybody in your life is going to be a pillar. Some people are there to be your scaffolding, and which means, they're there to help you grow and build, but then once you are ready for the next level, they're no longer there anymore. And that's okay, because you have pillars, other people there that are going to be in your life forever, and that may be one person that sticks with you from the time that you were nobody to the time that you are somebody and have all of your desires and your goals met. But the people, you absolutely need the people that are your scaffolding, because you wouldn't be where you are now had you not had them in your life prior. And I can think of so many people, so many beautiful, amazing people that are no longer in my day-to-day life that I still pray, think, and am happy that they were in my life, because without them, I would not be where I am today.
Well, Anne, I love that. That is so awesome. I'm excited to listen to that podcast of yours and his. The cool part about what she just said is the people who are part of the scaffolding, they have a purpose as well. A lot of people, the important thing is success looks different to everyone. Success looks different to everyone, but failure is always the same. Failure is not getting back up. Failure is not trying. Failure is stopping. But success is different for every single person. And so the scaffolding person will just use that as like a whatever. They have a purpose, and they probably love what they do.
Yeah, and I'm sure we, at one point in our lives, have been scaffolding for numerous amounts of people in our life.
Well, I'm sure we're scaffolding right now for people.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, we all have a purpose, and to figure out your purpose is just to keep going and being the best version of yourself than you were the day before. Like, we are not trying to compete against anybody in our lives, ever. No. The only person you're competing against is the person you were yesterday. A flower doesn't give a shit who and what is growing around them. Mm-hmm. All the flowers are just blooming together, and they're only worried about what they're doing, how they're going to bloom and grow. Mm-hmm. So just keep watering your seed, keep growing, keep going. The only reason, like Tina said, if you fail is because you just stopped. You just stopped.
Wow.
Don't stop.
That was so awesome. I love that. So also on like piggybacking on that, when your flower grows, you encourage another to grow next to you. Like, you're not going to grow a flower and then the other flower is going to like go the opposite direction, unless you're a sunflower, then you go towards the sun and whatever. But you get what I'm saying? Like, we are all here to encourage and uplift another person. And if you feel that you want to reach a new height, if you feel that you're like, okay, I'm doing the things, I'm hearing what you girls are saying, I'm loving this, but I'm lost, I don't know where to go, or I don't know what to achieve next, or whatever the question is, I say find your 5, and also pick up The Power of Positive Thinking and Rhinoceros Success. Those to me are just powerful, because it's about how to create habits and how to think differently.
Yeah, agree.
And that's where it starts. It starts so small. We didn't like have this miraculous, like Sara and I woke up one day and we met each other and we looked in each other's eyes and we're like, we're going to create a podcast and then we're going to do this and then we're going to do that. Like, there was a lot of prayer that went into this. When we saw each other, we didn't even we had 7 words with each other the first time we saw each other, and then didn't really talk for months.
Yeah, it's a lot of what are you doing behind the scenes? What are you doing in your daily life, your daily routines for yourself? I mean, it comes from the times that you're in your bedroom or in your home alone and you're working on yourself. You have to want it for you, because nobody else is going to want it for yourself more than you. So if you don't like who you are, you're the only one that's going to be able to change that.
And you have to want it so badly that anything anybody says that comes at you is just going to reflect off of you. Because here's the thing I learned from one of my mentors is it's in your heart because it's yours. You can't possibly tell someone with a small mind your big dream. Or anybody, really. I mean, some people get it. Not a lot of people get it. There's a very small percentage of people. And had I listened to somebody who I thought was somebody I loved and who I thought loved me, and maybe they did, had I listened to what they told me that I couldn't do, I would not be where I am today.
Yeah. Anybody that's pointing a finger at you, there's 3 pointing back at them. It's a reflection of what they have yet to work on in themselves.
So be so bulletproof that when someone you love comes at you and says, that'll never work, you won't be able to do that.
Use it as fuel.
Yes, because that's what I did.
Same.
I mean, it's crazy that the people you love the most are not always the people that believe in you, that support you, that are going to help you grow. But here's the thing. That's where you find new people.
Exactly. That's precisely where you go and find a new group of people that are going to support the journey that you're on, that you're trying, the new pathway that you're trying to pave, because there is a way. Like, there's a reason why so many people are walking this big, gigantic road, because billions and billions of people before us, now and after, will continue on that same path. And then when you turn and start to go on the narrow path, there's weeds, there's not that big of a wide span, but when one person starts to walk the path and then you lead somebody else on that path, the weeds start to move over and the pathway becomes clear, and the aha moment just comes and you're like, okay, these are the people I need to be associated with. This is where I'm going. This is how I'm going to do it. It's by putting positive things into your brain. It's by creating good daily habits, and it's by serving others, creating an impact in the world, flourishing out from within you, from what you're thinking, because you can only give what you have. And if you don't have what you like, then you need to switch it up. So it's just about walking the narrow path.
And what you give to others, you have forever. You have it within you forever, and you get to really see and feel and experience your own growth in serving other people, which is what we said in the beginning. And you know, when you were talking, that reminded me of, we were just at a Zach Williams concert, and it was funny because everyone's leaving out the tiny door, and there's a big crowd, and everyone was going right. And I looked at my mom, I'm like, everyone's going right, let's go left. And there was like nobody walking left, and it makes me think about what happens in the world. Like, everyone's going this way, everyone's doing this, and when I say everyone, I don't literally mean everyone, but the masses are going one way. Go the other way and feel so confident that it's your own path and it's your own way, that you're bulletproof. You have the breastplate of righteousness on you. You have the feet of peace. You have the armor of protection to get you to experience the best life possible.
Yeah.
And that's biblical.
Yeah. You can be anything and everything that you want to be. It's already in you. It was planted in you before you were even created. And you know what you need to do. Your gut is always telling you what to do, where to go, and how to be. Just listen to it, because your mind and your heart will play games with you, but your gut always knows. So just hear it, listen to it. And believe me, this took me a long time to figure out. I'm still learning, but it has gotten me so much farther than overthinking, because my head plays scenarios that never even happened. And it's like, okay, well, where the hell did that come from? That didn't even happen. And then you're creating stories and scenarios in your head, and then you start saying them out loud, and then they start happening. So let's erase that and start thinking positive, and then start talking positive, and then you start acting positive, and then positive things just start coming into your pathway. Like, that's how energy works. That's how, because again, it doesn't know negative and positive. It just knows, oh, he or she is producing this, so I'm going to give them more of that. So if you don't like what you're getting, switch it up.
I love it. Yeah, that's exactly it. And I feel like we could probably end on that, because that was a lot of information she just gave you. So again, stop this podcast write stuff down or listen to it again, because there's so many nuggets in this podcast. We've literally read 7 books for you. And so just take the notes, use 2 things for the next week that have been really profound in your mind. And if you have questions, you can send us a message. We have a link set up to book appointments with us. But we want to help you, and we want you to flourish, but do your own work first.
Yeah, we're here to help you and support you in any way we can. But just know that you have it all within yourself. So believe in yourself, because we believe in you.
Have a great day, and thank you so much for watching and listening today.
Thank you so much for listening and sharing and subscribing to our channel. We are so excited to announce the launch of Fearless Queens podcast apparel. This apparel is going to be made by students of Wolcott, Indiana High School who are receiving college credit for their entrepreneurship program. 10% of the proceeds will go to the Wolcott Entrepreneurship Program to help the expansion. Another 10% will go to the Indiana Dunes Great Banquet. It's a nonprofit organization located in Valparaiso, Indiana, who spread the agape love of God throughout the region. This holds a special place in mine and Tina's heart, because without meeting at this retreat, there would be no Fearless Queens podcast. And the remainder of the proceeds will go to help continue the show's funding. Pre-order your apparel through their Instagram handle at Fearless Queens Pod. Thank you so much again for listening, and pre-order yours today.